Hello, my little Luxxes. This is another episode of Luxxxy Charms, and I am your host, cosplayer Charsie Luxxx. Although, as you can see by my attire, that today I am transformed into my favorite slasher of all time, Freddy Krueger. And why, may you ask, did I transform myself into Freddy Krueger for this episode? Well, one, this is a special episode due to the fact that this is the 1-year anniversary of my Charsie Luxxx individual YouTube channel. So yay! Lots of celebrating to be had, to be done, however the hell you want to put it. But this is also bringing back last year's special, and it kind of goes on perfect for themes. So this month's theme is Merry LuxxxMas. And what better way than opening up LuxxxMas than talking about a holiday horror movie review. Let's talk about the 1997 film Jack Frost. Now mind you, I wanted to come back as Freddy due to the fact that obviously my very first episode that was here on the channel, I was holiday version or a Christmas version of Freddy, and obviously Freddy's got those green and reds going on anyway, so I just go perfectly on theme for the Christmas and the holiday season. But what's more is the fact that I wanted to talk about my buddy Jack. Me and Jack Frost, we got a lot of things in common, obviously. The number one being the fact that we both found a way to conveniently come back from the dead and to wreak havoc and revenge on those who have wronged us and taken our lives away from us. So I thought being dressed as Freddy was perfect for several reasons, besides the fact of celebrating that 1 year ago I was a holiday Freddy. And now this year, I'm a holiday Freddy again to celebrate and to talk about my good friend, Jack Frost. Now, we will open up with our usual, I'm going to give a spoiler alert and a trigger warning to those. This is content that obviously can be a little touchy. It's dark humor. Now I, Freddy, really don't care. I feel like you all should be scared and afraid. Viewer discretion is advised because it's a horror movie. This one is funny as hell, but this is your spoiler alert as well. So if you have not seen this film and do not want to know any of the content, please be advised that spoilers are ahead. And moving along, let's also include and talk about the cast and crew of this film. Scott McDonald as Jack Frost, Christopher Allport as Sam, Stephen Mendel as Agent Manners, F. William Parker as Paul Devereaux, Eileen Seeley as Anne, Rob LaBelle as Stone, Zach Egginton as Ryan Tiller, Zach Lundeen as Jake Metzner, Kelly Jean Peters as Sally, Marsha Clark as Carla, Chip Healer as Deputy Foster, Brian Lechner as Deputy Pullman, Darren Campbell as Tommy, Shannon Elizabeth as Jill Metzner, Paul Keith as Doc Peters, Charles C. Stevenson Jr. as Father Branagh, and Nathaniel Gray as Billy Metzner, and Todd Connor as Driver. Director and writer, Michael Cooney. Also a writer, Jeremy Page. And as always, I like to note an apology if I do butcher any of those names or pronunciations. I also figured that I could open up and talk about the quick synopsis on IMDb. It just makes it nice and quick and easy to reference on here, and then I will talk about the film a lot more in depth and then talk about what I like about it, what I dislike about it, you know, the usual. After an accident that left murderer Jack Frost dead in genetic material, the vengeful killer returns as a murderous snowman to extract his revenge on the man who sent him to be executed. Now, as I said, my good buddy Jack Frost, he was able to find a way to come back from the dead. But we should talk about the fact that this movie opens up with a gentleman telling his niece a scary story. Now, mind you, she wanted a happy, scary story, but as soon as this guy starts telling her his tale, she begins to become way too afraid. And a special note to talk about is that the director and writer of this movie, Michael Cooney, he is actually the voice of the man that is telling the little girl the story of Jack Frost. So, fun little facts to be had, and you know what? I think he did a superb job of having a very, very freaky, frightening voice. Now, mind you, me, Freddy, I wasn't afraid of it, but I'm sure there are others who could be very creeped out by it. So he continues to tell the little girl the story of Jack Frost, who was a murderer who liked to kill people and make them into meat pies, and he would travel from state to state. For 5 years he wasn't caught. But by some dumb luck, a local sheriff at a very small town by the name of Sam, but as Sam always likes to even kind of add the note of he was in the right place at the wrong time, and that he was able to capture this guy. It is the day that my poor, poor friend Jack Frost is to be executed, and at the stroke of midnight is when his demise is supposed to come. We see him in transit with several different security cops who are taking him to his destination for when he is to be executed. But there is a terrible accident, and Jack Frost is able to get away. Before he was to get away, he was going to kill all those prisoner guards, but just before, he is slammed in the face with this terrible mutating genetic material. Probably one of the coolest effects in the whole movie is you get to see Jack Frost start melting away and see blood and goo and everything until he completely melts into the snow. And my buddy Jack Frost finds a way to come back from the dead, and he starts to become the snow and starts to slowly turn into this evil snowman. Now, mind you, Jack Frost, when he was to be executed, they were taking him back to the county where Sam and his family lives in this small local town. And, of course, Jack Frost is going to want to seek revenge on the man who wronged him and put him away behind bars. So, Jack starts one by one as he's making his way to town, killing people off as he goes along. And Sam, of course, is worried that Jack Frost has come back to seek his revenge. In fact, he talks to a Detective Stone who guarantees to him that Jack Frost is indeed dead and no more, and that he died in that accident. But that Detective Stone and his scientist friend have a secret, and they are on their way to this little town because they know for a fact that Jack Frost isn't gone. So as time goes on, you're seeing Sam being with his family, being a doting husband and a wonderful father, but at the same time, you're seeing him with this conundrum as family friends and members of the town are killed off one by one by this mysterious killer. But as things begin to progress, and the fact that this Detective Stone and his scientist buddy, as we can call him, show up in town, it is slowly revealed that all is not well, and that they finally have to admit to the sheriff, especially when it's revealed when this snowman appears and starts trying to kill everyone right in front of their very eyes, that they must finally tell the sheriff the truth, that Jack Frost has been given some genetic material that has warped him to be able to survive after death. And that, of course, the scientist is thrilled by it. So now that Jack is back, he is able to seek his revenge onto everybody that he hates. But by the end of this tale, unfortunately, my good buddy Jack Frost, he doesn't come out on top, because they discover that he has a weakness. Why, yes, he has a weakness, and it is antifreeze. Because conventional weapons were no good against Jack Frost. No. It could hurt him when he was in frozen form, but Jack was clever enough that he could melt himself into water and he could reform and mend himself and be just fine. But against antifreeze, he had no chance to fight against that. The movie ends with them packing up melted Jack Frost into containers and burying them. But it kind of gives a nice little hint that there could be the chance of a sequel. As any good horror movie would be, even in mine you get a whole franchise. And no worries, there is in fact a Jack Frost 2. So the story did continue from there. Now to go a little more in depth with some of the fun facts about this film, this was Shannon Elizabeth's very first film. And a lot of people would recognize her or know her from the movie American Pie and also from Scary Movie. Now, Shannon Elizabeth is in a scene for this film that has had some controversy, and it's the scene of her death in the film. Now, anybody that knows this film knows exactly what scene I am talking about, and that is the scene that is in the bathroom. Now, it's kind of a funny, ironic scene to begin with anyways, because her and her boyfriend decide that they are going to break into the sheriff's house because they want to have a rendezvous and a fun time while breaking into somebody else's house. Now, Freddy doesn't judge. They get to their point where they are going to have their fun, but Shannon Elizabeth's character, Jill, goes upstairs to get cleaned up. But the funny part is that she is sitting there blow drying her hair just before she goes and gets into the bathtub and gets her hair wet again. Could someone explain that scene to me? Because it makes no sense whatsoever. The scene progresses into the part where Jack shows up to the bath scene, and of course ensues to the idea that it is an RAPE scene with Jack against poor Jill's character. Or why am I saying poor Jill's character? I am Freddy and I don't care if Jack kills these people. On a note that from certain facts that I have read and have seen is the idea that Michael Cooney, when he originally made this film, he didn't intend for it to look the way that it ended up being. That the idea was that Jack Frost's character was smashing Jill against the wall until she is crushed to death. Which kind of makes sense to the ending scene when she falls to the floor and blood spills from her mouth, because, you know, internal organs being smashed, that would make more sense for blood coming out of her mouth. By the time that they went to editing, that the editor looked at the director and said, "Do you know what this scene looks like?" So they decided, instead of refilming this scene, which was a very difficult scene to do in the first place, that they would just carry on and actually that they would go with it. So then that's when you get the quips and the funny puns from Jack, when, you know, it kind of furthers the story that that's what happened. This is a dark horror movie. We could get into concepts about the R word in films and where we really don't need those in films anymore, but that is for a different time and a different film. This one we will carry on for now. And another fact about the film is that Christopher Allport who played Sheriff Sam in the film. He has unfortunately passed away since making that film. In fact, he was also in the second film as well. There was a rumor that a third one was possibly going to be made, but after Christopher had passed away, that's where it kind of dropped off. But he passed away on January 25th in 2008 to an unfortunate avalanche. And the ironicness to poor Christopher dying in an avalanche after doing the Jack Frost films, it's tragic in so many ways. But I thought with the ironicness of it that to bring it up for some of the facts that were a part of this film. Now, there's no reason why they couldn't technically do a sequel for the film, and maybe it would be centered around his son Ryan instead. I almost forgot his name and almost said Zach, but no, his son was Ryan. Ryan's character is very important in the first film. He's not in the second one, but what Ryan does is he likes to have cooking experiments, and one of his cooking experiments at the beginning of the film is he's making some oatmeal with marshmallows for his dad, but unbeknownst to anybody that he actually put antifreeze into the oatmeal. Now, he wasn't trying to poison or murder his dad, but he wanted his dad to stay warm since it was going to be cold outside, so he added the antifreeze to the oatmeal. But because of his oatmeal and giving it to his dad and his dad just having it packed in the car, that's at the end scene where they throw the oatmeal on Jack when they're trying to get away from him, and that's when they discover the antifreeze and that actually hurts him. Now, mind you that the little kid technically would have almost murdered his dad if he would have eaten that, but his dad is pleasantly happy and surprised because of that incident that they figured out a way to kill Jack. One of the other facts that was kind of a fun thing buried in the film is that in the scene where Ryan is cooking the oatmeal, there is a marshmallow kind of like snack food snowman next to him, and it's missing an arm, and it kind of is symbolic to the idea for the end of the film when Ryan is wrapped up by the last part of Jack that had still somehow survived, which was his arm, and he tried to crush and choke Ryan, but it's just an ironic little foreshadowing kind of showing what was to come. Now, I don't know if that was on purpose or on accident, but it's just a fun little thing to take note of, regardless of what direction it was. And another fun fact about this film is that, yes, it was in the wintertime, but they had an unusual drought that year. So when filming and they're supposed to be surrounded by snow, they're actually on site. They're not on a set or anything or in a building. They're outside for this. But it was a warm 70 degrees, so there was no snow going on. So you'll notice while watching the film, there's a lot of fake snow. They had to bring in cotton and they had foam. So you'll notice in a lot of those scenes that the snow doesn't look right because it's not real, it's fake snow. But they couldn't control the weather and what was going on. It's definitely not what's going on this year, where it is freezing, it is cold, and very snowy. One of the last facts I wanted to note about this film was that it was shot in only 18 days. So that was a very quick production to be done. Now, obviously, if you haven't figured me out by now, you should know that I love this film. This is one of my favorite holiday Christmas horror movies. I have been really getting into holiday horror films as of recently. I used to not watch them. I want to say one of the first ones was Santa's Sleigh, and I believe it was Stone Cold Steve Austin who played the evil Santa in that film, and it just kind of like took off from there. And of course there's so many streaming services now where you can just look up Christmas horror movies and just stream them. The first time that I ever got to watch the original Black Christmas was actually the drive-in special. Way more fun watching it with Joe Bob's interesting facts to go along with the film. So, moving into the thought process and the idea that yes, I love and enjoy Jack Frost. Yes, this is a cheesy film. Yes, this is low budget. Yes, you can tell it's fake snow. Once again, though, that really wasn't their fault at the same time. I love the characters in this. I love the writing. Michael Cooney with that creepy voice at the beginning of the film. As I start to lose my voice. Michael Cooney in that creepy voice at the beginning of the show, like, he should also be a voice actor because he does a superb job of just sounding creepy and horrific. And I want to find out if maybe possibly he also did the voice of the little girl too. And I'm not sure. If anybody knows this fact, please let me know. It's a fun, cheesy holiday horror movie that I really love and enjoy, and it's become a holiday tradition for me to watch around Christmas time every year. So, and the weird part is that the first time I ever watched this film was only a few years ago. And it should come without any surprise that yes, I recommend this film to everyone, especially for Christmas time. It's a fun holiday horror movie, dark humor, it's hilarious, probably some of the funniest puns, Christmas puns on top of that. Yes, I can always say if you don't like cheesy films, then no, you're not gonna have an interest in this, and then I wouldn't recommend it to you. But anybody that loves just fun horror movies, please go watch it, go enjoy it. In fact, you probably already know it and watch it because it's from 1997, and I hear so many people when they talk about this film that they remember seeing it on the shelf because it just had that staple face of Jack Frost, and that everybody just remembers this film a lot of the times for that. So yes, I think this is a very fun film and I recommend it, and I hope you watch it this holiday season. And as always, let me know what you think of this movie. If you love it, if you hate it. I love having these conversations with everybody and just getting your takes on it, because your taste is going to be totally different than my taste. And some of the scenes could be completely off the wall for you. I don't know, but I would love to know your opinion and get your thoughts on it. Now I realize I broke character in the recording of this, and that I am still Freddy in heart, but not in soul, because there can only be one Freddy Krueger, and we all know who that is. Mr. Ungland, you are the best and the most fantastic. I think Freddy is the character that I have officially cosplayed the most now, and obviously, I will keep bringing this character back. I will do changes. I've been having fun experimenting with makeup and everything. Maybe over time, maybe even pull in some FX makeup to kind of pull everything together. As always, I want to thank you for joining me here on another Luxxxy Charms. Thank you for joining me on this movie review for Jack Frost. And if you are interested in seeing me on my other social medias, you can follow me on my Twitter for Charsie Luxxx with 3 X's. You can follow me on my Instagram for Charsie87. And you can also follow me on my other YouTube channel with my friend DC for Little Channel of Horrors. Although I think I'm going to make a quick little announcement about Little Channel of Horrors. I don't think that we're going to be recording anything brand new, not anytime soon that I know of. I really haven't heard anything new from DC, and I don't want to push anyone to do things that they don't want to do. And obviously I absolutely loved doing the reviews with him and the story times, but we're both just so busy in our lives that I don't think we're going to be doing any new episodes anytime soon. but we do have several episodes where we talk about other popular horror movies, and that if you have an interest, please do go watch those. They are a lot of fun. And I've been trying to experiment and to learn as I go along with this channel. Like I said, this is a year of Charsie Luxxx, and my own platform. I love where it is developing, where it's going. Obviously, your feedback is always helpful, and I appreciate every single one of you. So thank you for helping me to celebrate 1 year of being on this channel, and I love and appreciate every single one of you who have joined me here, because without you, I wouldn't be able to do this, to do something that I'm passionate about, something that I love. And so thank you very much for joining me here, and I hope to see you continue to come back. And as always, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, no matter what time of the day it is. I hope you have a good one. Bye. And what better way of opening up a LuxxxMas? Please quit. The vengeful killer. How is this film doing? But by the end of it, he thinks he has to. And another fun fact about this film is that, yes, this is